However, we start our operational period in July 2006. To date, we have received over 18,000 statements from victims in Liberia and around the world. We have visited every county in Liberia and met with hundreds of victims of this Liberian tragedy, listening to their hearts and sad stories. We understand the point you made that maybe we didn't go as deeply into subsets as we should have, but I think the Sheikh gave some input onto that. Currently, we are restructuring our inquiry unit to facilitate the final phase of our public interactive work prior to our detailed consultation internally and externally on the way forward for Liberia. It is for this reason that you did not receive prior to coming here today a listing of alleged charges against you or your organization from various victims of the Liberian tragedy or subcommittees of the Commission. Also, this is why we have not held certain individuals, certain alleged perpetrators for perjury or contempt against the TRC, though we were aware that many of them may be telling something that is not true. However, you and others will be provided with these listings later and given an opportunity to respond to them accordingly. But we do deeply appreciate your patriotic heart to come here today and share with us under the theme of contemporary history of the conflict period. Please understand also it is this TRC process, not our personal choice or thinking, which defines and structures those who will be classified by us as alleged perpetrators, be they political or military, or those who should bear the greater burden of the responsibility for our national crisis. Also, please realize that though we are not a court, we can provide immunity against persecution for anything that one fully discloses to us at this time of your free will, according to Article 10, Section 30 of the TRC Act. Also, we have the power to recommend amnesty in certain cases for those who apply. These are some of the powers of TRC. However, if any alleged perpetrator deny their involvement in atrocities on record, lie, or refuse to face TRC when asked, then these powers do not apply. Reconciliation cannot take place, and thus we will have no recourse but to recommend alternative mechanisms, including prosecution, to ensure national justice, peace, and reconciliation. So with that, I would like to start off by asking a couple of questions. First of all, I'm concerned about the early part of your life. You know, the investigative period that we're looking at is 1979 to 2003. And I've divided into 4 sections: 1979 to 1985, 85 to 1991, 91 to 97, and then 97 to 2003. So looking at 1979 to 85, could you help me to reiterate some of your activities? I know you said you were a minister of the NSA, right? During that time, was that in 83? Could you sort of just give me an overview of your activities from 79 to 1985, not repeating what you already told us?
As I said, 1979, I was still not in the country. I was still in school. I was in fact residing in Greensboro, USA. In 1980, I was not back yet, so I was not with the National Security Agency.
So when did you return back to Liberia?
So,
when did you return back to Liberia from school?
Finally, in 1982, to come and sit down.
And when you returned, what happened? Did you get a job or just work privately?
Except for visitation, come spend 2 weeks, go back to come and reside to Kenya in 1982. And I sat down and I took a job at the National Security Agency.
The first job was which ministry?
I was having served as chief of domestic and counterintelligence. I was elevated to the post of assistant director of special services. Not too long before I was again elevated to take it our way to assistant director of operations and intelligence. Of course, sometimes you point out that deputy director of operations, but that was when maybe the bus driver or things like that. But now there was assistant director of operations and intelligence.
So in essence, from 1982 to 85, you were involved in the intelligence network?
Yeah.
No.
And during that period, did you come across anything that would help you to understand more deeply what brought about the coup of 1980?
The what?
The coup of 1980, the killing of Topple. Did you come to realize anything from your experience either in America or here that would help you throw additional light on what you learned?
Well, except you're being specific, but
For example, was it just
I know that there were a lot of I did this in a context, especially there were students of the Igbo here, like I was telling you about the 1983 episode when some students were arrested by government. I did not personally take that because it was on the high level, so the arrest was carried out by the bosses, like the director, the deputy director. It was a joint security thing, and so you had to come like the head of the security apparatus. That was around 83. But of course, there were a lot of other activities in the country. So, except where you were being specific, then if I know I could write on it.
University of Liberia, that incident, for example, right? The situation of the students at the University of Liberia, 1984.
No, I was not here. Okay. You're talking about when they had this move for being removed, right? I think that was it. Okay, no, I was not here. I was in Northern County investigating some crossover. But when I came back after about a week, my niece, Azeta Doer, was being detained at the NSA because it was alleged that she had cried in our dialect and was showing the other students how to cry in our dialect. And so then she was detained, and it was, I think they said the policy, other agency, that required that if any of their relations was involved in anything that was being investigated, you simply excuse yourself. So when I came and Azeta was detained, I went to see her, I took her food. I had to be escorted by other agents, and that was the rule that I subscribed to, so there was nothing I could do. And then I just left until that case was over.
Concerning about the crossover, that investigation 84 that you were carrying out in Maryland about a crossover, could you explain about that, please? Was that linked to the later on invasion that came to Arma, or was it another, a suspected coup or something? What was that about?
You're talking about the 85 incident?
84. You said something in 84, you were out of the country, you were out of the city in Maryland doing an investigation on a crossover. Could you tell us about that crossover incident?
Oh, you want me to throw that on that crossover I'm referring to? Okay, there was some Ivorians. It was alleged that some Ivorians were crossing into Liberia using the unusual border points. And that was the information our field office in Maryland sent to us. As was the case any such information like that, I instructed the three officers to further investigate. Our regional commander, who was touring at the time, said he too got the information. He was not able to give further details. So then I contacted my one there personally to go see. I went there, and what we saw was ordinary Ivorian citizens who felt they had some connection on the other side of the border. They came in for family purposes, they came in to get illicit goods and stuff like that. It was not anything serious. And so I just came and submitted a report that it was a normal thing. But the reason they used the point they used to cross was it was easier for them from where they were crossing. Every time they came through the normal point, they said they had to pay a lot of money. So then what they did, they used the canoe, the cross-over budget, things, and went back. There wasn't anything serious. We're not talking national security threat.
I understand. Thank you. Next, let's look at the period from 1985 now to 91. First of all, you talked about the fact that you had intelligence information prior to the Coups invasion about that invasion taking place. Could you share with us about what type of intelligence you had gotten prior to the actual attack, and how did this information come to you? Were there any particular leaks in the system, or what?
It was all a period of time. Now, let me make one comment here. I don't know if the National Security Agency has given this another classification, and it was classified. So I will give it to you if you ask. I know I shall put nothing that was secret. I hope it's not a secret. I hope it's been classified. But the information we got at the time was training process being carried out in Sierra Leone. And that some Cuban trained members of the SSD that were special forces in Sierra Leone were assisting the dissident forces from Liberia, or dissident elements from Liberia, to conduct the training. When that information came in, it was information we received from people called covert agents. Now, in that case, we had to send in our own people to counter-check so that we can see if what the agent reported was in line with what our own people from Central picked up. Yes, we confirmed that training was being conducted. We found out Liberians were involved, along with Saudis that were helping the training process. Those are the kind of information we gathered, and those are the kind of information we provided the central government.
You said you were surprised that they did not respond to it.
There was a problem during the presidency of the late President Youlo. Oftentimes he referred to us at the NSA as bluffers, as people that sat down and wanted everything to go on paper their way and not the military way. So every time you took a piece of information, he said, Mr. X was doing this. He said, oh, forget about that thing. You just sit down there, that's all you do. Instead of taking action, then it's up. We all say, we are soldiers. We're not here for liability, you know. So now we provide information. I still remember, I was asked, when the Deputy Director of Operations was out of the country, I was asked to cross it. Yeah, okay. And I went in there. I had to brief the Minister of State and the Deputy Minister of State. And then, so Professor Nancy Clark was sitting there. He was the Minister of State, And then the minister said, okay, fine, sit down, you don't want to know about this thing. And I told them, I said, here is a file. The NSA will then go there to talk. We carry the report as raw, for raw intelligence report. I said, here is a report from the key agent. Here is the digest, our estimation of what we think it is. Here is our report from the men we sent in to investigate. And so this day when I went in, I said, look, if I could see the president, he said, the minister said, look, you better come tell me what you want to tell me. So I said, yes, sir. And I said, look, there is a training going on, Michelle. It's confirmed. We have sent in our people from Central. We have adequately penetrated the group. We know there's training going on. We know also there's a backup plan here. And we think the best thing to do is to preempt. I should have said that. I said the best thing to do is to preempt. And the minister said, what do you mean? I said, well, rate the count. Because if the people cross over here, they'll be neutralized. I can assure you that. Because the people coming will come with guns. If the soldiers are not talking now, they will not talk. They will do what they want to do. And so the minister said, well then, you're going to put it in writing. I said, oh. He said, yeah. I said, fine. I went and briefed my boss. I said, look, the minister is saying we should put it into writing. What we mean by preempting this whole thing on our side. We sent a weekly brief that was initially sent on Friday, and we told President Joe that the best was to do it 2 ways. The diplomatic method means talking to Saka Stevens. Sorry, was it? I think it was Mama Stevens. I don't know. Okay, I think it was Mama. Talking to Mama, or no, it was Stevens, sorry. Talking to Omar Saka Stevens to tell him that something was being done on his soil, and that was an attack on another sovereign state. That was one way. And I said another way would be the Israeli terror system of approach. Raid a town, send a team from the military, say you have the Saka people here, raid a town. That one way. We sent that report. That one was prepared by the director. It was sent up through the initial town on Friday. I saw it, I read it, I supported it, but no, the government did not take it. And so we left it at that. If the bosses approach it later, I don't know.
So after that, you would say that had they responded, could that coup have been averted? Could that coup have been averted if the government had responded? Now that they look back at history.
If the diplomatic approach was used, there was a chance. But I doubted that chance also because Joe and Saka Stevens are not on good time. So I didn't think it would have worked. But if they were trained forces, I think it would have worked. Send the camp. That's the Israeli approach. Send the camp. Dismantle the group, and I think that was one way to do it.
Thank you. Okay. After the failed coup of '85, did you do any further investigation or catch to find who the collaborators were on that attempt?
No, not at all.
So the government just assumed that it was only Kuampa and a couple of people and forgot about it?
Not at all.
Okay. When did you leave Liberia? After the '84? What was the first time you left Liberia for a protracted period after '84?
Say that again.
When was the first time you left Liberia again for a long period after the '84? You know, in '85 we had the coup, and then you talked about certain situations that you got in. So when did you leave the country now, before 1990?
Leaving Liberia was like a Monday thing. I really would not be able to recount.
Okay, so there was no time when you say you left.
I was going a couple of times. I had to go finish a program, so I'll go there for 6 months. Then I'll run back, so there was a lot of time on that.
Next one. What was in your opinion now, what do you think was the core reason and when did it take place? There's this so-called historical split between the Crown and the Liberians, the Rio Minor, where it broke down into a sort of civil war like between two cultures. So, can you pinpoint any incident that could have been the turning point? Because we hear that Mr. Joe made a lot of overtures towards Limba with peace talks, etc. was there, in your opinion, now, being that you were caught up in the middle of this, do you see any key that made everything break down and made it become a real tribal battle between the two? Can you shed any light on that? Or is it just something that just happened casually?
I tell you what, one of the few times I had, and of course it was late, but one of the few times I was close to the president was when things had gone bad. And then he always said he was a liar. I had time to talk to him. And the day Oman Yanku was shot, people probably thought he was Youlo. I went out to heaven and we talked for a long time. And I got the issue of the Nima Blanchida thing. What he said, what my mother confirmed, is that we from Blanchida and our people in Nima, we are related. One way. He said, when you hear about Belawale and other places, those are crown towns. Those are our cousins. But where the things go wrong, what he said, his version, he said, you know, Kuampa and I were very close. But politicians play games, and Kuampa did not listen to him. They said he wanted to overthrow me, so I decided to transfer him after the council met. But then he said, no, the law after he went and consulted his people. There was one aspect. There was another time where he said that Kuampa himself had never been his father, but that the tribal people, the tribesmen, were always advising him to do what people say, well, oh, you are the strong man, you sit down, sit down there. He said, you know, there was one time, he said, you know, that there was one time where we even ate cats in Lima. We killed a cat. Because it was a traditional thing to put our differences aside. But then, by the time I look at me, this problem came about. That was the side from Blue. I talked to a man, he's around here. I hope he's in the audience. His name is Tomo Yazwa from Lima. I think he's here. Some people are here, let him do it. Just go ahead and back into it. You're supposed to be here. I heard you be here. When I had some business, some work for me, then something happened, and then I took him to water and sure where my wife would call him. Then we went to Lima, here now. We went to a town called Zuri. I might not pronounce the name right. It's called Zuri, it's a local town. The old man, when you went through to the contractors there, to the house on the right, very old man, was like a father to me. He said that you Crown people and us Nima people are related. But there being a problem before, he said for some woman business we fought war. And the Crown people settled in Belawale and other towns and refused to leave until they planted corn. And the corn grew and they ate the corn before they returned to ground here. He said they're born children there. I said, oh. So the very fun, he said, you don't know what I mean of that, my son. To plant corn when you defeat people was the highest form of disgrace that you could give another group. He said that one thing that our people are never forgiving the people for. But for you, my son, because you are I just went there, I will follow him to the palm tree, he said, can't I said, no, I don't drink, but I will take it down, you know, and put it down, and bring it down. That's, those things I see, I'm just telling you, I think was some of the problems, and I think are some of the problems between we, Crown, and our Nima brothers.
Okay, thank you. So that is more, not something political or external, just an inbuilt cultural feud that just sort of flared up as a result of that situation of Kuampa's attack. about an incident when you saw Drew, the time when you were very sick. You and Mr. McLean, the President of Minister of State, who was also at that time Minister of State, and you saw Drew and you were sitting there. Which McLean is that? We7 McLean, sorry. Okay, We7 McLean. Okay, then this is Mr. We7 McLean and yourself. We7 McLean at that time was the Minister of State. Under who?
Who are you talking about?
You mentioned about one McLean. Could you please clarify? I made a mistake. Which McLean were you talking about when you were ill that you told us we could check with you now? You mentioned some kind of McLean. That was. He had his head on his head.
It was something going on to the Lutheran Church.
The Lutheran Church massacre? What year was that, please?
1990. 1990, yeah. I remember acting minister of State Visa Martin had gone to the Catholic hospital. He said, my son, something happened last night. Something. I know he's a very quiet guy, and so when he told me that I knew something had already going wrong. I said, why? He said, they kill people who look to church. You know that church in the world? I said, yes, I said, they kill people. From the explanation I knew was great. I decided to go to the mountain. So my little friend, the minister, the king down was trying to travel. I rode with him in the back. I saw the bodies myself. But I went on to the mansion with the minister. We drove into the mansion from each day. And then when we got there, they said the president was on the football field. There is the latest street left. Wild canopy. We were sitting under the people. And I was not well about being young and going on. He said that they don't agree. They want to find the thing. You know the people fighting me. And he actually had, he kept, he would get in and walk, and sometimes he shot the place, bow his head, and that was the incident I was trying to tell you in my testimony.
So from that, he was trying to say that he himself personally was not involved in that his people, his soldiers, or maybe his death squad or whatever may have carried it out against his will. Is that the feeling you got?
From the way he behaved, from the way he grieved about it, even though he's not here, I can put my neck on the chopping board or something, they know until it happened. Because he said one thing, he said, if I find the person who did it, I'll execute him. He said it. And he didn't even say it to my mom. The place was packed. The place was packed. Even the
anybody that was there that we can refer to, like Mr. McLean was there.
McLean was there. Mr. McLean was there. Chabris of the mansion. Maxwell Cabal. They were there. They all heard them. There's this fellow from Ivory Coast study. He was a nurse in the mansion. He was in a record. Because in fact, he said he wanted to give me tablets for pain. I said, the other side should not be taking tablets for pain, but if you can give me something, he said, well, I'll give you something. He was standing right there, standing. He was in the army. He was right there. He was standing around. There were people like, there was a lot of people. I mean, the place was packed. I would be there and name everybody. There was a place I could put my bosom in there. Like Nigeria and then those are living over there. They were actually upset. He said, if he found the person, he would execute the person. He felt he was the one who was fighting. He felt it was something like sabotaging his efforts to bring the war effort to a close.
Thank you for understanding that. Next, let's move now to the period from 1991 to 1997. Now, you started that period by talking about an incident that took place April 12, 1991. You said that was when RUF and NPFL attacked Syria. Was that correct? Around that time?
Yeah, 1991.
And you also said by that time you had left Liberia?
I was already in Sierra Leone.
Okay, so he had moved to Sierra Leone because of the war. After that,
we are August 1990. Just about 2 weeks before Samuel Joe was killed.
Now, while you're there, the story we're getting is that you gradually got involved in creating this fighting group as a base to help the Sierra Leoneans based on the intel that you had given them, and you realized how valid this intel was. So they started.
What I wanted to do was, we decided to strike a place called Bar in Kema. Bar, yeah.
Like different from Depot was something you mentioned earlier. You mentioned something called Depot, some site that is actually to attack, and from there you thought you could reach into Liberia further.
It's already in Liberia.
Oh, so that far?
Yeah, it's in Liberia. It's just close to Guthrie there, just around there. It's a big sized town. But there was a guy based there called Ray, so we used to refer to him as Bar Ray. And there were reports from even international media that said Ray was killing anybody that was found on Mandingo. Then he graduated from killing the crime and go to just anyone who worked for government. And now the reports coming when you on the other side and you hear those kind of things, you almost want to die on the spot. So what we really wanted to do was set by, get rid of Ray one way or the other, you don't capture him or eliminate him at all. And then make a lot of noise. Tell the international community, look, we are a rebel group, we don't sit by, we want to make a lot of noise. So that we have a free corridor that people living abroad will go into the show because by Ray was the obstacle around our whole route.
So did you succeed in that project?
Not immediately, not until NPFL attacked on the 10th of April 1991. When the attack started, then the people, the Sierra military authority, especially General Muhammad Kalawali, he said 3 times decided that he would provide also arms, but it was not to come to power. He didn't even know we have time to want to come to power. What he said was, we said, look, this is our second country. Our people will be massacred and people are allowed to settle here. So then he got the idea. And then he agreed to give us arms so that we could help them. But our target was to clear from Kiniman to Bowola side, go back and clear the American route one to Daru, and clear from there to a little town called Jama that link you with Congo. We agreed, and so he provided the arms. But we didn't tell him though. Initially, we didn't tell him we wanted to come to Mali. As the fighting progressed, and we made a lot of progress, and we saw him and said, well, look, you help us, and we'll help you. We said, look, we don't know your fight for you, you're not being us. I mean, we were being very bold now because they saw our successes and things, so we were being bold. So we can set up the deal. You gave us ammunition, we clear all of these routes, we even go and clear Faro and other places, but you gave us ammunition to go and basically abroad to fight. They said, fair enough. But we're not easy to go to the MPFL or RPF to just come like that. So that was the way it was.
When did you eventually resign from the company? First time. When did you resign from the label that first time?
I resigned, when I came to Liberia, there was this fight in Borneo. If you remember, it was a terrible thing. It was like 2 brothers fighting. And BBC was constantly reporting that the Mandingos were holding the crown. Now these are two brothers from the Manu. I call Oma Goma Kalawani and the rest of the group themselves and say, please take, we will borrow yourself in a helicopter, and military helicopter, and go to Tianyi and talk to the people there. I was sitting down and Alako and Dumia and others that were actually talking. I wanted these people to talk to them. It was not working. The radio I used to try to talk to Pepper and Salt and others, they don't record it. We had no recourse. The only thing we could do was to force our way in. But then I did not stay. There was a threat on my aged-old mother. The salon attendant said, I'll use your arm. Which was true. I actually took their arms. I didn't ask them. But I was young. I had to rescue my people. As you all know, BBC, my daughter was constantly being raped. It was on BBC. Well, one of the commanders said, yeah, I'm having his daughter, and and he wanted to say something I can't say here. People were being killed. Remember, old man Dukan, I left in the house, was struck. I heard he was beheaded in the yard. Thomas, I thought I was killed. Others, the information was reaching. 1 week back, we had to shove our way in. So, then when I tell this from the question, the 2,000 of me, then Khalid comes and said, we heard you took our arms, that you used to clear our prison. I said, yes, I did. He said, well, you didn't ask us. So I said, well, I'm guilty. There's nothing I can say. But you see, you hear the news from Liberia, I have to go to rescue my people. He didn't go down with me well. He said, if you don't report yourself, I will knock out your mother. I said, my mother? And you want the place to go with me. I will report myself. But when we talk to each other about radio, I was at Arma and he was talking to me and saying, if I didn't report myself or on a Sunday, I didn't remember, he would arrest my mother. So I said, oh no, I'm coming. And he said, another thing like, I will kill your animals. I had a lot of animals. I said, well, go ahead. But he said, my mother. I said, well, no. So I went to him. I said, yeah, he said, you want to arrest him? I arrested him. I said, you want me? So that's the way we want to do. So I didn't come. I remained there. When I returned in 1994, I tried to call the two groups together. I had a series of meetings with Alaji Kumar. I had a series of meetings with Roosevelt Johnson and his show recipe. I had meetings with Mr. Latana Kumar. I called Chief Darrell. I called Oman Sekou Dudu to see if we could put the two brothers back together. The elders did well. They were trying to move. Then every time they came around the jobs issue, problem came. So then I appointed Lassan Kennedy. I said, okay, look, you are the chairman on the reconciliation committee to bring the two people together. Weeks went by, it wasn't working. Lassan Kennedy is here. He went to me and said, Arma, this is not working. I go to Johnson, he will give me all the sweet talk. When I go back to my division, when I go to Ghana, they don't want me. So I said, fine, welcome. I went to Ghana after I talked to Obini. Rawlings facilitated. Several Kumar we talked. We talked to Johnson, they agreed we'll come to Laguna and put the force back together. We came back, 0. I said, well, enough from it. I'm quitting. So I called this press conference and I left.
And so that was what year? 1994, 5?
94.
Around July.
You're supposed to be around here. I had them until September. I had a lot of them until September 18 when the woman took them away.
When would you say that the split between the two was actually seasoned itself, took actual root? When are they actually split?
Yeah.
Was 1993 or 2 or?
I just didn't go to J, I didn't go to K, I decided to sit down.
Yeah, well, that particular year when the split became solid. 94. I'm trying to historically understand when did the official split take place between the Limbo into J and K? What would you want us to put down in history at the time that split took place?
I don't know, I hate to speculate, but let me just give you the story that was told me when I came. They said it was over some voting matter. I think Chairman Kuma wanted Dr. Mohammed Sharif, and I think Kamal Zia wanted, I think, Kumako. Now, this is what they told me. I was not here, but that's the story I got. And then, so when then the voting was cast, and the vote was cast, I think they found out that Mohammed Sharif didn't win. And then when they checked, when they tried to find out, Thomas Zia apparently voted for Kumako. So Kumar felt that Zia did not play the role he should have played. Now, if Dinibo had voted for herself, then Mohammed Sharif had won. And I think that was caused a friction. At least that's what was told me. Now, I don't know the details. I was not here.
Earlier that Johnson there was a situation where Johnson received some money and goats and black cow and some other things from Taylor. And it became a difficult sticking issue for the group. Eventually, a decision was made to move him, but he was asked to return those items or face removal. From what I understood, did you say that he did agree to return the items eventually, but was still removed, or was he removed because he refused to return those items? I just want clarity on that point.
No, he refused to. At first he said he would return them for the meeting ended. When that meeting ended, after I was leaving to go to the hospital. But what he did, he carried the cow, had some play or something, and killed it in his yard. And he ate the cow. He did not get the rest back. He did not get the money back. So then the commandment with the elders and decided to remove him because that was Captain was received in the name of the faction that he headed. That's how he was removed.
Thank you. You also mentioned that you were very upset about that because you felt that Taylor had not shown any independence to the group, but yet was just trying to ride his way closer to the organization. Is that a feeling from your conversation?
I don't know, but you know, President Taylor was he's a very smart guy. What I think it was, Taylor didn't tell me this. Johnson refused to admit that. But I think he wanted control of Salala 1 because I think the Youlo J group were harassing the people along the area every time they came for a meeting with this organization something. They were harassed, election harassed, Kakata. So then he wanted the group to go up to Salala, leave from Salala up to after BWI, somewhere there. And that's what I think he was trying to buy his way. But now he didn't tell me this, he never admitted it. Johnson too did not admit it, but this was the kind of information we're getting. On the other hand, even including myself, he had sent for me to tell me that he thought the enemy was the Manigo. That's what he said.
Who said that?
Yeah. And I said, well, these are our brothers who came together and know they have quarrels. You know, and then he left it at that. He didn't pursue it. So I don't know whether it was the same thing because one or two times I know Johnson found himself out there with his commander that we sponsor them to move the Youlo faction from Swain and other places. But whether that was the reason, I don't know. I'm just saying what I heard.
During the negotiation period, where the different LNTGs came into place, did your organization, first of all, were you involved in the disarmament issue? Your men, your people? Or were you still with your labor at that time?
I'll tell you what, the issue of disarmament, again, I think you should refer to the newspaper people. Because the newspaper had a lot of complications there. I worked with ECOWAS base, trying by General Obin and Dr. Harry Nayi. And there was another person There was a guy called on a boat from Birmingham, I think from Pakistan or somewhere, I don't know, or whether. He was also there. And I carried arms to the ECOWAS base in a pickup. And I said, yeah, all the arms belonging to the Cape Farm. I have left. I don't want to have anything to do with this and this army. There was a big thing about it here in Monrovia. It was a big person. So yes, disarmament, as far as I was concerned, like the press reported, I was the first to disarm to ECOWAS. But the state should have the record. And I just left my one announcement time.
When was that, please?
That was 94. That was 94, but the end, I just went to the end of 94. After I resigned, I had taken like a month. I tried and we couldn't get together, and I thought enough was enough. And I just done the finished.
So in essence, not only did you sort of leave your involvement to officially disarm your subgroup, took over to them before you left?
Yeah, it wasn't that they were part of UNIMO, they were part of LDF, even though they named them. But these were people we used for special occasions. For example, if we were on a constant attack by NPFL or RUF, and our people were driven back, then we sent them in. So, because they now were posted, they were under my command, but they were part of LDF, they were part of UNIMO. But because we did it smoothly, I had to take the lead of this army, and I did.
All right, that's understandable. How many persons do you think were involved? 100? Or was it similar to that 300 group that you originally came into Liberia with? Or was it less than that by that time?
They didn't have the name of the Central Liberia.
Oh.
The name and the selection on the month, the protest of the God, and the trust that came and gone, came back to Liberia in 92. Surely. No, sorry, 93. When I came back in 93, when the name was given to them as KFA. And before you tell yourself, let me just tell you what KFA all means. Let me just tell you, so I know what will come up. Somebody once said a crown fire. No, there is no crown fire. There were some original fighters in the early days. One was called Connie, a new guy, great guy, tough guy, smart guy. So one of the first commanders I had. I remember sending Connie to clear Beaufort when the Southern Army ran away. And the commander of the Southern Army, Yaya, came up to me and said, if you don't go, the guy told the Army that you will everything inside from my army. The post commander would see my neck. I said, oh, Colonel, you will have to deal with me. He said, I'm ready. We went in there with less than 17 men. And we rescued the trucks. We took the town back. If you go to Kinema and talk to Chief Cabo, I think the name of the little village after that, after Youlo village. We took it back. That was funny. He died in a car accident in Tianjin. So I took his kid there was Free Color. Color is his last name. Free, we used to call him Free the Lion. He was a very, very good fighter. I remember in Bangladesh, I was lying down behind a bumper boy when the people attacked me. I couldn't get up. And Free was all the way back there. And he ran, and he came, and RDF, NPFL forces, we fought for hours. We took the town from them. If you ask the Lebanese ambassador to Shalom, then called Fawaz, he will tell you because he has special interest in that town. We took the town from them. But Free died. Before his death, he asked to be buried in Liberia. He said, hey, Commander, please, if anything should happen to me, bury me in Liberia. When he died, I buried him in Liberia because I took his kid. So then I had 2 kids. Then there was another fellow called Kuman. He had this British style hair. Another tough fighter, on a noble. He practically lived for me in the house. You could count on him. Very trustworthy. Not only in the fighting. You could tell Kuman, stay here, do this. He said, okay, that was it. Kuman died. Again in a car accident. He tried to escape ambush around the Shama farm in Kenya. And then he ran into the bridge and died each time. I was in Kinema when I got a video call. I ran there. I drove from Kinema. I went there. I took the body. I buried him where he wanted to be buried. And I took his kid. So I had 3 kids. When I collected 5 kids that were original fighters, I decided that their memories would not die because they did not come home. We all wanted to come home. These guys did not come. They were not originals. There were some of them. So then I said, all right, in our meeting when I meet those people, what I said to do was that they brought me home, they sent me home. It was in fact upon my return from Sierra Leone, 93, that I said, all right, now that you're welcoming back, I can't leave it the way it was and it is. I have 5 boys that closely worked with me during the initial stage of the LEDF formation. I would like to remember them. So from now on, I'm selecting these guys, some of the guys among you that I trust, that I've been working with, and hereafter will be called the K5. They were only to be 72, not less, not more. So rather I selected the 72 men and we were called the K5. That's how the K5 do it. It doesn't mean Crown 5 at all.
Thank you. So you understand that about K5.
Even though we're 72, if you ask General Green and Inyanka and some other guy on the island, another corner, those over there, and Daniel Upangi, they will tell you that I did not carry 72 arms. I carried over 80 arms. Why? There was some arms captured that I had and I didn't want to keep them, so I carried them. They were big, something that was publicized here in the country.
Next, after the disarmament, the election, before the election, was there a period where LNTG3 that you held a position of authority?
I don't know. But I can tell you it was 1994. I don't know when I was 2, 3, or 4, now all these different governments around here. They were always changing after the Accra. I don't know. But people do ask us to do research. Well, I don't know. One person that we have to record is Emmanuel Kandi, or people like Obin, or Inyaga, and President of the I don't know which government we got.
But key point is, after you disarmed 94, did you hold any position in any of the interim government before the 1997 election?
Yeah, far before the 1997 election. Before the 1997 election, yes.
Did you hold any position with any of the interim governments?
At one point, there was much work about that transport. They say earlier in the group, they said, well, look, you can't, if people come to you, now the organization, they can't teach, so go to transport. And we can all organize the group and I'm sure in order to have between more than 3, 4, 5 times. I don't know what I would think. The other thing, work very plenty. Last time I had a lot of cows there, I don't want to pick it up. But then there was an issue. If you are outside of something developed, then they will refer to you, especially that people will let you. I took that job. I was there 6 months. I'm transport minister. That was before the election. In fact, I had that job before April 6th. So I took the job December 95. Then April 16, then September we went back. When we went back, there was an issue involving Ruth Perry and Johnson when he said they would not let food go into Kidman as long as no medical jail people were on his truck. And the no medical jail people he referred to was Youlo. So then Taylor called me through his special assistant around here and said, I should go to Liberia. That was one of his control. That was his son. He was the chairperson on that. I said, I want to tell myself, I'm on job. So I went up to my parents. I said, well, if Johnson says that you want to go to Cape Town, because at that time you didn't okay and Joe was still fighting. Jay was still fighting. I said, but I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Just give one a minute, maybe 10 minutes, and come around back. I always see the council needs for that out here. So just give me 2 minutes and go back. I have my briefcase with me. And I will send a letter. I got there, I did a letter. The letter I tell you, she's arrived. She said, well, I'm going to go through. She told me, and I said, I was done. So that there will be food going to take them. And I took it. I didn't take the job at the city hall. You said, yeah, I don't want to do that. That was it.
Were you involved at all with this Operation Octopus? What was your situation during that time? The Operation Octopus or Monrovia was the NPFL operation that was a widespread attack around 92 or something like that?
I heard about it, but I was not in the country. They said there was something called Ottercom, but I was not here, so I don't know much about it.
Okay, were you ever employed in the Taylor government?
Yeah.
Were you ever employed in the Taylor government? After election 1997, Taylor was president of this country. Liberia's 23rd president, whatever. Were you employed as a minister, deputy, any kind of position in the government of Liberia?
Yeah, so Taylor, and again that job was given to me by Abu Mohammed in the presence of Upandi. What he said was, look, this man been helping us. Every time something happens, we call him. So let's go to Taylor to tell him to take him in the government. What General Abu Mohammed told me, when he was then the chief of staff of ECOWAS, I remember I went to his house, he used to pray to God, and he said, I want to get out, let me tell you what he said. He said, you're one of those persons, he's a federal. But we told him to take it back to the NSA, he said he can't do it. It will be like putting that to the top, he didn't trust you. You fought him, yeah, you see alone here for you to come to the NSA, you're not do it. So he said, tell him to defend, he said, no. I said, but I'm fine. He said, but he said that between now and tomorrow he will give you something. I said, thank you. The next day, he told my manager to tell me you are appointing me a transport officer, managing director of the Royal Council Authority. I received the letter. I told it to Abu Mohammed, and I said, "Oh, there's nothing down there. That's kind of some of buses that they took from France during the time of war. So it's like going to go sit down back on my farm. I don't know what I'm putting my head in the back of them." He said to me, if you don't take it, and people follow you will take it to me, you are still not satisfied. So since you started the process, take the job. I said, "Nah." And that day I went to the mansion of it was a killer. Martin George took me in there and I said, "The president, thank you. I really appointed him." I said, "But what down there?" He said to me, "Look, send a proposal and I will help you so that we can bring some bosses and we can build the business." So yes, that was the job I had. But it did not last 2 months when I resigned. I don't think it lasted about 2 months. Maybe just about when I resigned.
Why did you resign?
There was a number of issues. First, I had gone to GTC. At that time, the road that was now when you said somewhere, one other side, after the Masonic temple, somewhere there, down there. And I met this German fellow who assured me that if I could show him 5 buses in running condition, he would only sign a contract for I think 6.7 or 7.6. The government should be allowed. But I would take the contract US dollars and then lift the refugees back to Liberia. That was second. I did a proposal. We took it to the president. He told me to take it to Sierra Island. So I took it to Channel Island at his house. He said, "Arma, this is very good." He said, "Tomorrow you come, we'll discuss it." I said, "Fine." So I went back. The next day, I called him out and told him to go and see Charles Bragg. He was then the national bank governor. I went there and said, "Oh, but Arma, this is what you should get him." And I said, "Well, that's what I said." But he said he wants better of credit that can get buses. So all I want is people can talk to the president to get at least 5, 6 buses. Then I will get a contract from GTC. And I was going back and forth. I spent my own money. I went to Guinea because we were Tata buses brought in by some Indian company. The buses were intended for Freetown, but then the rebels stopped and they couldn't let international money in Guinea. I confronted the guy. He agreed to give the buses, but he wanted a letter of credit for the National Bank. I came back to Monrovia. We signed some agreement. I sponsored myself to Guinea. We go to Independence Hotel. The records are there. I pay my own money. I came back. I tried to see the president. He wouldn't see me. I tried again. He wouldn't see me. I went back to the bank. I talked to the governor, right? He said, "Arma, we'll see your man." I said, "I want to try to do." The next thing I heard, I was not able to get buses. That was one thing. There was another thing. Taylor was still being given out selective punishment against our people. And I felt if I wait for Taylor, I would be losing my respect with the farm people. But we still were not happy with him, the way he carried out things. Even myself that he said he gave job. They had some constant surveillance on me, constantly. Every time I left Brody, there would be one big car behind me. I would stop, they would stop, I would pass it over to my little not see it. So I left the job. I went to anyway, you don't know how to do about it. And that was a big thing for me. They were upset.
So you left that same 1995, eh? And when did you get arrested for this coup issue? I heard you were arrested and in jail for 5 years or something. The government accused you of a plot or working for the government. Can you tell me a little bit about that one, clearly? When were you sent to jail?
I was
sent to jail by Taylor.
I was accused of being involved with the September 18 incidents on Camp Johnson Road.
1995 or 6 or 98. Okay, so 3 years after he had quit, then the September issue came up.
And the 7, I was held hostage at the mansion. And 8, I went to jail. In fact, when you read the indictment, it said I was living on Camp Johnson Road. I never lived on Camp Johnson Road my whole life. And it said something like, I was having a meeting with Haji Kuma. If you talk to Professor Kuma, he will tell you, beside the time I took complaints to him against Johnson, and as in fact, he has long since been out of the country. And then they said, I was meeting with, I was involved with President Sally. I spoke to her once at the Robertson International Airport. I bet you she doesn't know my name. You get my name to the hand with the other one.
Thank you. And you stayed there from 1998 until when? It sounded like you said 5 years, but it looked like too much.
I was in jail until 1993, was it?
Until 2003?
2003, sorry. 2003. That one was released. And then I think you might have heard about what happened when Taylor came to this very place here. I was living right here at the intersection of Garden and Broad Street, the apartment there where I was living. And me and my children were on the porch. You know, President was somewhere, you want to see the convoy, you know, you want to see all these things. So now we came on the porch and I was playing chess. When they were all the convoy, we got the survey and the cooking. Just imagine you just come out of jail. Then this car came with BZT mounted and he told me and my children to go inside. He said, how am I going to do that? All of you go inside. And I said, well, they said, go inside, we'll open fire. And the people come and they all to sit inside. I said, well, you're okay with this because the president for everybody said, well, you sit inside. And Chucky Taylor was right opposite this hotel with a group of guys, AK-47 rifles, AK-58 rifles, GPMG, and some other artillery were compounded at that account. That's anybody that lived around there.
So you felt threatened? Okay.
Then one day, at the same time, I was going to the North Central Mosque to pray. And you don't believe this. Some of the people are trained at the NSA, but the surveillance agent they have money. So it was funny. I stopped a woman buried there, talked something, and I wanted to do it, but I was just being paranoid. So I took a paper from Woman Barry, we had it there, he's a money changer. Took it and, I come up it and drop it. I said, I want to see the thing I'm making some diagram. I drop it and they pick it up, there was nothing inside. So I said, oh, but then you guys are really behind. So I made my way, then I went from here to the help of some friends on the gun.
What time was that? What time was that?
2 or 3, I didn't come on until just at the time we were doing election business and they were saying that President Sally won.
So from 2 or 3 when you got out of jail, you went straight away to Ghana?
Then I came back September 97.
Okay, there's a person who had told you even before you were put in jail that Taylor had set you up and that they just wanted to accuse you and get you officially a trial and then later they would give you clemency of some sort. Do you mind telling me who that person was again?
Let me relate what he said. He allowed you the second one with me that day was Friday. He said, Serena Seaport, and Seaport is there as a concept. Woman didn't come to the corner and said, Arma, what are you doing? The man wants to see you. I said, listen, say you are already want to take you. I'll send you out of the country to do a position here. He said the report you got from the FDA, here is back. I said, oh, that's good news. So then, he told me to go to his house, come on down, wipe out with me. I took my son along. the chair was still with him until the trip away to the sound of the really small return. Then on the chair came and told me he was so serious. Oh my God, I got my old left out. I said, well, I live on. I got a dragon. I stole other things from the farm. I took the cows from Manga. I can I saw you people. I come here and found over there. I do everything. I told you, got to do everything. Okay? I talk about everything I had. I said, oh my God, I had that. I'm proud of my wife. I had 2 lakhs. He left. And then he sent for me and went to bed. He didn't get up, but he came and said, Arma, you're looking good. Damn it, you boy, Joseph, strong boy. I said, thank you, sir. He said, sit down. He asked me, how are you? And I said, well, I said, I'm here. I can't, okay. He said, yeah, but the report from JFK, they said, when you catch the common cold and slingshot, you could die. Because the memories is that they stick. I said, yeah, I do problem with JFK. He said, I'm going to send you to South Africa. And tomorrow I'm going to send you to MBI as deputy director. I don't want to do ranches. And I can't send you to NSA because Patriotic, the man is doing a fine job. But I really want to send you back to NSA. But you know, by the time you come from the hospital, there will be something for you. Look, in the drawer, and he gave me a brown envelope. So I said to myself, I didn't put it. I said, oh wow. He said, my man, he said, my boy, he said, my boy, you have to pay for a apartment. Tomorrow, he said, I'm sending trouble now. I never seen trouble. I didn't see him, but that's what he said. He said, I'm sending trouble to get to a car. And I'm calling our ambassador on our side to make arrangement. They want to find a hospital on the side, we can do our operation. He said, all the fine things. But before we went, while we were in prison, he asked everybody that was in prison. I said, and I always said, even the prison superintendent are doing while I was in prison. One thing I want, when I leave here, I would like to ask the president why I'm here. Why I keep it here. I don't want to know. I said that to the chair when he escorted General Mopani to go visit me in prison. I said that to Bibi Taylor when she wanted to Taylor sent home. I said that to my brother Milton Tierji. Until I told him for me to write a letter of apology, so I would give the reason I will not do it. Until he told me why I was something. So then I decided to take that chance, that opportunity to ask why I went to jail. And by the 4 hours, he said, oh, you boy, you know this thing. You boy, you think I don't know you? I know you from the station. Look, don't side with me. The intelligence report that came, they implicate you, boy. Look, if I let you out, you know what? I will not be sitting in this seat. It will be hot. Because I don't know where they're going to take this thing and go share with the family. Tomorrow your car will be there and soon you'll be looking for South Africa. That was it. So I don't think there was any reason why I wanted. I think they shut me up. And I will buy the story that the child she gave me in the presence of another agent that he said, he said, we check, and the English guy was also there, he got it. He said, look, we check everything, you were never involved with anything. But the president said he was afraid if you were left out, you would fight him. So she said it, the English guy repeated it to me because he was then, advisor in Manchester, and he said he got it. I sent him out and I said, Papa, you can't live out of this place, you can't live in another annual about it, and now he told me to send out a message.
I see. Thank you. So this was all, I guess, centered around the Liberian invasion coup, and he was sort of like one of those side issues that sort of had that part of the package. But the original thing was focusing on the Liberian issue, right, at that time. So that was around 1998, 99, etc. There was talk about invasion coming up. I'm trying to link your accusation with the third issue. Do you have any additional information you can tell us about, or were you just in jail and it started way after 1998, 99? We heard there were 2 phases of NERD. There was a group that came in first from Guinea prior to the actual formation of NERD, and then later they merged with the NERD itself. And I think one of your friends that you mentioned, Mr. Willie, was involved with that. So if you have any information you can share with us about NERD situation, were you connected at all with that? Or did you hear anything about it through the grapevine of the Youlo network?
Don't forget, I talked to BBC Robin was in 1991, May, and I now children went into his mother's home of the land. That was his short. I don't think children can easily forget. You heard that one. Two, don't forget when Saboli and his people tried to kidnap him one night, and they realized around 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, I protested. We didn't even talk press conference. Don't forget also what happened to me on Somalia Drive when 7 armed and the king was in the press because the she arrested one of them who said that the chief said we should kill me. It was in the press. It was here. I don't know why. I'm sure you got the record. I think you got kind of pull my leg here, but that's okay. Why was that? The only reason was I felt, and he felt, that I was not on his side. When I raised the issue of selling in our government, they don't get bad at it, he didn't let it at it. And you ask Martin George, he will tell you, he sent for me and Martin called me, I wanted my hands, I'm not, what are you doing? I hope you people are not using you. Your barrister says, I hope Americans are not using you. I mean, because they find they want to, they can push around. What do you mean by government in the government? I said, oh, what these people, around carrying arms, harassing people, they don't know people. I said, what happened to other places? There were armed robbers. Armed robbers will go in a house and act on a specific person. I was in our house just after the election commission, one of the commissioners' places there, Charlie's house. There's a house there belonging to one really called Gladys. They broke in there looking for me. 3 o'clock in the morning where I walk. Even though they didn't see me, because I left long before to go back to work. But armed robbers don't go to homes to ask for specific people and then grab the ball in the house and beat one and say, you're having the man, where is it? And armed robbers go to places to pick up things. And when she arrested one fellow who was in the central prison before they released him under some dubious circumstances, that fellow said that the chief said we should kill him. Who was the chief? He didn't say. But there was only one chief doing those things. And we'll kill him. When you hear Papi, then I will kill him. But that's what he said. So, then the same Arma Youlo resigned. They were publicized. They were big thing here. In fact, I think there was some place the other day on BBC, who were the first to resign from killing the Arma Youlo. They were on BBC. Some kind of place. Those things put together, I think. Now that's my own explanation, that's my understanding. But I think that was all. I don't know of any other thing to go out. I don't think here now we're talking about any other thing.
Okay, thank you. Another question. We noticed in a lot of the testimony we're hearing that the Liberal group committed some atrocities, especially towards innocent people, massacres, etc. What do you think was the cause of that? Because you seem to have told us that you're trying to train your people to be reasonable in war and follow certain ground rules. But what happened at the end? How did it just end up becoming the way it did?
Can you elaborate a little bit?
Well, okay, like I said, later you'll be given a detailed list of all of the various atrocities that are accrued to your label. So I just wanted to ask you a general question at this time, that you want to be more specific. But if you feel that you need a specific issue, then we'll leave that question out. If you want to deal with that later.
The one thing we must do in this country, and to tell the truth, a lot of what they say are hard and massive. Take for example, I think the CJ massacre. I heard about it. When I came to Liberia, I heard about it. People talk about it. my friend Arma came to me and said, oh my man, when I hear this is what happened. Yeah. Who was there? You know, okay. You know, when I came back a year after the resolution, I found out a couple of months. I think they still have to put my friend. I think I need them. Not only that, even people within the organization, they know jail, they know kill people, they always come to me. What happened? People were put in the continuum. I met a man who lost over 6 children over Patriotic war. His children were put into a continuum. They suffocated. They died. I met so many persons. So yes, I heard that part. I heard of a massacre in Lopa. I was not there. I was not in the country, but when I came, everybody was coming and calling from my ear and from hearing this and hearing that. And so I heard those things. I will not say I didn't hear them. I heard them.
Well, in your opinion, as we now look at this kind of situation, because you know, when you're forming a group to come and do something that you consider to be heroic, to save your country and save the people, and it turns upside down, and the very foundation that you have built is end up used to massacre and kill a lot of innocent people. The TRC's concern is who should bear the greater burden of responsibility in this case. So you have already told us that you are one of the founders of this organization of the legal.
That's a fun question. That's a very fun question.
And involved in the process of trying to mediate peace between them, etc. But in the end, what would you have to say on this task that we have?
That's a fun question. But let me go about it this way. You operated on 3 different phases. There was the LDF phase that operated in Charlotte. You go back to the international community and ask for a record. I will refer you to the British Embassy because they had one Colonel Donald McKinney that lived on the basic house. I've already returned from the British Embassy, we said it's mixed-up business. But you can contact them to tell you about him. He was practically on the base. If I remember using his video, they called Ghana one time. You can ask the US Embassy to call Dr. Rabo Mbelu and ask those 2 people. No, let's go further. Ask the ICRC so they can show you the representatives of Kinema. The 2 ladies were practically on our base. I turned over to them over 100 patients at 3, 4, 5 separate different times. I would put them in red uniforms so they didn't run away from the base. And they will come and say, y'all want to operate, y'all operate, you can't feed prison. So it's will bring you water by them, okay, you rest. But y'all take people to go and I want them before they come some this place. They will have to take them. They will give them a receipt. You ask them, I know y'all want to take a lot of receipts. Okay. Why? We have one cardinal against Council Liberia. We were not coming to become president. We were not coming to revenge. Yes, there was an enemy. There were 2, in fact, for me personally. When Johnson and Charles Taylor. These are the 2 people. So, as far as I was concerned, LDF was there to pressurize Taylor and not to kill anybody. And so we did not play the game. Ask anybody in Charlotte, ask people in Liberia here, that's what she would do. Then there was another stage, the Youlo factor. When we changed the name from LDF to Youlo up to June 2nd, 1992, no one, including yourself and the international community, will produce one record of apostasy committed. But I brought some of the police on the to be here tomorrow to him. that used to put the tires around the crown people, I stormed his base in Liberia and I arrested him. He's in Baton. He has a business there. They call it NPFL Chuck Norris. About the time Miata, the woman, Miata, maybe you heard the name. Every time woman or Manugo woman that Miata saw, she abused. She would take the moral pencil inside it until it passed here. She's here. She will turn around here. Oh, let her come and tell you what I'm going to do. Get on the phone. When his 3 wives, he died in the wrong battle. But there were 18 of them who captured. I should count. I called the real, I said, it was just about a week before I went to prison. I called him, I said, I'll bring him. The brother they let me jam up. I said, the other the call one said, don't kill him, I'll be aware. I said, you found one, I don't know you. I said, now you tell me where you want to go. To you. He said, I want to join you. I said, well, you can take him to the RCRC. Henry is right here, I think he's changing money or something. He was captured. It was his goal. Looking for him, I was visiting there that day. And I said, well, Henry, why are you doing NPFL? He said, the prison will go for it. I said, where are you? He said, they don't answer. I said, look, we're going to buy the other various of garden. I put it in my paper. I put it back to Salim. They are here. Then there was another phase. When the J and K faction were created as a result of the split. Those ones, the people that played, that were the game players, that were heads, the leadership must be held responsible. Yes, the group was formed for a purpose. But once you left the patrol, something like that. There were 3 laws in every year that went over the union. And ask anybody, if you want to join, you have to sign our form. What was the law? Don't loot, don't rape, don't kill innocent person outside the market. Ask anybody that joined Israel, they will say, Joseph and Sinner. Then there was the tough advisory council. Omer Goma Talawale had a group that sat on the base of us. So the things people did here because they thought by carrying arms they were supreme. If we don't kill anybody and everybody, we didn't play. So those that were responsible, they must be held responsible. Those are people who should hold.
Thank you. Like you just said, June 2nd, 1992 was the cutoff point for the LURF to Youlo. What was the cutoff point for Youlo to Youlo J and K?
The split.
What was that cutoff point? What month? What day? What year?
Oh, okay. I think what that 91, we changed over from LUDF to Youlo. There was this issue of being broad-based and stuff like that. But then, so Youlo was unified, progression, nobody heard anything about atrocity within the foreign wars for us until they split the organization. Truman Keller one piece, Johnson Keller one piece. After that split, they had to change came about.
When was that? When was that split? 1994.
Yeah.
You didn't go to the park?
I don't remember the month. I was not here when I came back. When I came back from Seoul, I met Youlo J, Youlo K.
You left before the split?
Yeah, I was not here. I was already in Seoul. I was invited, as I said. And I was there. You know, Straza had sent for me. I was there when they had this car on the street. I was not here.
The last question. Was there any linkage at all between the leaders of Youlo, whether J or K, and the leaders of LURF?
Lord,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Witness Youlo. Thank you for coming and your presentation. Okay. I'd like to start by going back to the 70s. Now, I must say that since we've done these public hearings, I think this is about the first time that we'll be hearing from someone who was highly placed in our security network, particularly the NSA. And of course, you know the review of all our institutions, security and all, is being conducted with the view to exposing those ills of the past and looking at how the operational activities of these institutions impacted on democracy and human rights in Liberia. So now I know that you will likely raise the issue of confidential matters, state security matters, or what have you. But as you would understand, our mandate runs from 1979 to 2003. And at the behest of any party, incidents prior to 79 can also be dealt with. Isn't it like I'm posing to you this question? Now, somebody who occupied a top position in the NSA worked there for some time. In the 70s, what would you say were the institutional mandate of the NSA, from the best of your knowledge? What is the institutional mandate of the National Security Agency? What is it supposed to be doing officially? What it is not supposed to be doing? And how it is supposed to be doing what it is supposed to do?
Actually, is narrow. What's the mandate? The National Security Agency was designed after the format of the Central Intelligence Agency. That's what the framework intended. One of the framework, I think it's still there, to come out with nonsense. The red carpet uniform, red meat, some of the frameworks. And what basically it was to do, and it is to do, was to collect intelligence. Whether it was civil, military, economic, social, foreign, domestic, but it was only to collect intelligence. Analyze the intelligence, the data, and the signal. That was all. But as the organization progressed, there were additions. People said, look, let's go after Manzil, the Israelis. They'll have a group in there that will be like special forces type of thing. So that if government was giving information that she didn't want to publicize or realize by bringing in the military, the national army, then we could go in there. So then they said, let's design internal security. But then, You can't just bring people from here and there and say, you want to put a special force in them. So the internal security was then restricted to just internal guys set for 10. And that particular one died in a very young stage. I think that's all I'm supposed to do.
Now, in this regard, what would you say was the level of collaboration, cooperation with the Central Intelligence Agency or U.S. intelligence agencies in terms of training, equipment, advice, and all of that?
Sorry, I don't know. Well, let me put it this way. I can't say. Not that I don't know. I can't say. I'm not a little bit this. I know, but I can't say. Sorry.
Not at liberty to say.
You have to. You know, Councillor Stewart, Commissioner Stewart, there are certain things one can say. There are certain things one cannot say. When we talk about the level of collaboration between two states,
We're looking at a specific time period. We're looking at how the operation of such institutions impacted on democracy, freedom, and human rights in Nigeria. And as a public institution, we are bringing this institution under examination because it did impact public life. You mentioned, for example, whether if the mandate of the agency is to lie and put it in jail, then we want to condemn that. And perhaps maybe hindsight is always better than foresight. But I suppose that you had experienced some end of it. And this commission was in the United States of America. We spoke to Herman Cohen, former U.S. Assistant Secretary of State, who, as a matter of fact, had extensive involvement with U.S. intelligence operations. And even now, in America, there's certain information which was classified years ago, but which are no longer considered classified. And such classification would normally cover a 20-year period. So if we're looking at the operational activity of the NSA from 1979 to 2003, that's more than 20 years. So 79. So it may be fair enough to say that yes, there can be disclosure. We're not asking for disclosures of sensitive matters concerning current national security, but we want to look at how these institutions operated in the past, so that in the future we will not have a situation where the liberty, the lives, liberty, and freedom of Liberians can be jeopardized by the operation of a particular agency or functionary of government. So again, it's within this light, I'm asking, what was the level of collaboration, cooperation, training, advice with the Central Intelligence Agency or with the United States Intelligence Agencies?
thank you. It all sounds good the way you put it. I wish it was that easy. You know the people that will tell you, the people like former Justice Minister, former Defense Minister, former Minister of State, and former Director of the National Security Agency. Those will be in the best position to tell you the level of cooperation that exists. Because,
for example, was there training provided by United States Intelligence Agencies or United States security agencies?
I don't know. Sorry, I just don't know.
Where did you learn tradecraft?
Where I did it?
Yes, in Liberia or abroad? And by which instructors?
Yeah,
British, French?
I don't think it has much to do with this commission.
Well, looking at, as I said, we're putting in the context, we're looking at our institutions, our national institutions. And the NSA is part of, is one of those institutions that affect national life.
You know, two institutions teach statecraft, two intelligence officers in Liberia before two others joined. At that time, it would have been the FBI, it was just statecraft investigation, it would be the CIA, it was just statecrafts and other specialized teams, or maybe then it could be Monza, it could be Scotland Yard, and now, I don't know what corporation there was. Only the big bosses who know.
Who can you say were are or were some of those bosses?
Sorry, say that again.
Who can you say are some of those bosses or were some of those bosses? The big bosses that you
Oh, you can do your own research and find people that are big bosses. You can find the Justice Minister Executives, the Director of NSA. You can find the Minister of National Defense. There were the three, probably in the 80s. You can find the Chairman of Joint Security who definitely knows something about it.
Now, it is common knowledge, though, that Liberia headquartered the CIA operations in Africa over a period of time. And I think it goes beyond speculation to say, or I think it goes without question to say that there must have been some level of collaboration and cooperation with the U.S. intelligence agencies for the mere fact that Liberia hosted CIA operations in Africa during the 70s. Am I right or am I wrong?
That's true. I know intelligence organizations around the world usually have bases somewhere. I remember one time the Liberian intelligence agency had bases in Guinea. So it's possible, but I don't know.
Now, in the gathering of such intelligence operations concerning state security and all that, I am inclined to think that you would classify whatever threats to the country in two categories, domestic and external. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah.
So you collected domestic intelligence and external intelligence.
Yeah.
So, at the time you served the agency, during that period specifically, what would you say were those defined threats, domestic threats to state security that the NSA had identified as domestic threats to the state? Let's leave out external threats, but domestic threats. And then, how were those threats handled? And which sources constituted those threats? Were it political leaders, for example, student leaders, labor union officials, Yana boys, or whatever?
Thank you. You know, every administration that comes into power has its own way of defining what was domestic threat, what was foreign threat, what was destabilizing, and on and on and on. If you talk about from 82 or around 1982, I would say the government of President Youlo considered any insurgency plots a threat to national security. They considered it was what then, it could be foreign, it could be domestic, if you were on the ground, it was domestic, it was done itself on Guinea, on Ivory Coast.
Did the government of Liberia at any time, during that period, or in the preceding period, consider student organizations, student movements as sources of domestic threat?
organizations foreign elements organization here were placed on another banner. They were monitored constantly, but they were not of national, they were not of threats to national security, and they did not go on par to that of military plots involving military, plots involving foreign dissidents, plots involving domestic insurgency being developed on foreign soil. No. They were on separate banner, they were monitored, and if they were not penetrated by foreign organizations, for example, there was an incident involving the Soviets during the heat of the coup. And we'll go back to that name, Patriotic. When Patriotic came here, the dossier that came with him was this thing. They are gone to another East African country where he caused havoc. He tried to set up in Ghana. It didn't work, so he was transferred here. At that time, the government approved that there was student opposition. And so, unknown to the Liberian students, Patriotic's role was to grow students that would be opposition to government. And what was said then was, in one of the manifestos from the KTP manifesto was that students would easily bring down government. And one of the examples he said was James Vidal Casa. So they were told to train saboteurs. They were told to train agitators. Now, our own students here did not know. You know, it was a problem. I wish I had the time to talk to Joe Wally at the time. I would told him why I thought he was doing it. Because he didn't know, he just told me he went down there to answer film. But the people that invited them thought they could grow them. That you grow something in the laboratory. You know, like how you go take pineapple and they say, well, you could grow something in the laboratory to call tobacco. That's what they thought they were doing. So you see, everyone on which side we were, and then the government was the one that laid the game plan. They said, who they were going to monitor for what, to what level. So, I mean, it will be difficult to sit and tell you whether students, whether military, whether foreign, domestic, it was strictly decided by the government that be.
Did the government, for example, spy on student movements, student leaders, student movements, labor unions? Did the government spy on them?
I think that would be crazy. I heard this when I came from Roland West, firing on our university, my own visa, and everything was doing. So I think that was playing with their own game.
Did the government, for example, keep surveillance on labor union leaders, student leaders? Did the National Security Agency keep surveillance on student leaders, labor union leaders, worker leaders?
Like I said, any government, if this government, that government, they decided what they wanted to do. They would decide to even monitor an individual. I had 6 months of surveillance recently on my house. I went to buy belts for him on Broad Street. And the little boys behind me, everywhere I went. So, I mean, again, if the government saw fit and they were not sure of something, they have all right. So I would be able to tell you that. I would be able to tell you that. But it's all left government in power to decide who they want to monitor. It would even be somebody in the government. I tell you what, there was one time, I'm sorry, the other time I always feel I didn't get his number to call him. There was one time where we ran surveillance on Professor Sire. He was in government, I think he was some commission chair. There was some time that we ran surveillance on Youlo. He was minister of information. And the only reason was that people said he was meeting with a soldier lady, but people were not sure. It was not true. There was time we ran surveillance on Peter Naga. And the day he was meeting with his personal friend, yes, I was sure, but there was nothing else. So you see, the government said, government surveillance and this man, government go back, he's doing all that. Then I know the people I don't need.
It will go back to the surface.
Huh?
So I said, it will go back to the surface. What are you talking about now? I mean, that's foul. It will go back to the surface. Did any such thing happen? Like surveillance on student leaders, other leaders, political leaders?
I didn't hear your system. It was all left for government to decide. It would be X. Now, I was just telling you that even her own, Emmanuel Buye was Minister of Information for Restoration. Peter Naga was Minister of Labor. We ran surveillance. And let me tell you. Look, there were times where sometimes for me when I was the surveillance chief, put up a week. Because they thought I had met a politician. And they wanted to know what we discussed. But yes, I met this politician. But what was discussed? This guy was a professor at the university. I needed help, I needed lecture. So I went to see him. Somebody would go and say, oh, he met me, so X. So my boss said, your person runs on him 24 hours. You see? Now, I was in a system. But there was merits. I met this man, I didn't ask for permission. And so the person runs on me. So the government decides who to deal. So I will not be the one to actually say what I do, right? Surveillance and market moving and things like that.
Now, like you rightly said, the agency conducted domestic and external intelligence operational activities. The coup occurred in 1980. Can you say the occurrence of that coup that took the government by surprise? Can you say it was the result of intelligence failure? Did the intelligence not pick up details of a coup in the making? They had no idea that a coup was in the making? And we heard that there were several coup attempts to be planned. One was a right-wing coup by elements supposedly within the range of the coup party and within government, and some within the military. But the fact that the coup occurred and took the entire government by surprise, most of the officials were here, were arrested, detained, the president was killed. Can you say that it was gross intelligence failure that may have led to this coup, or was it provided, intelligence was provided, and the government officials responsible by the president ignored such intelligence?
I'm sorry, you are being specific. I was not here 90 days. I would be the best person to answer that. But if you are asking my professional opinion on what I do, failure is part of the intelligence organization. I would say yes and no. There are times when intelligence organizations can be practically nothing. They see it, they could prevent it, but if they found it right, and the change was necessary for the good of the country, they won't prevent it. They happen in Chile, they happen in many other places. They won't prevent it. So it could have been both. Maybe they just didn't know what was going on. And then when I go back, I asked the outcome one time he was deputy director of ministry. I came, there was something and we were talking, and I said, what really went wrong with the 1980? The 1980 coup? We started from 1979 last time. I don't remember. I said, did you people tell government that one of these students be a lot of problem? He said, well, he said, well, there were times where we do go on, but sometimes you don't know what they want to hear. Okay, but then that comes to my thinking. What went on? Where were meetings held? How did they do it? Who wanted the motion? How was it planned? Who was behind? How did it go on? How did it get it done? There were a lot of questions that were part of the training process, so I want to ask you this question. And he said to me, he said, look, you know and I know, I'm putting you off of it. He said, you know and I know that NSA practically monitor everything. And every time I push it, they get another answer. Now, if I look in there, then it simply meant to me now, he didn't say it, but that's how I would take it. That the pilot knew something was being done, and it just kept quiet. Now, I'm not saying that what he said, I'm not saying that what happened, but that's how I would take it. And so I would say whether it was failure on the part of the intelligence organization, I can't say it. The difficulty is.
Now, you mentioned the right rise. In aftermath of the what is now dubbed as the right rise, a publication came out. I think there's still copies of that publication available around town. And the caption on it was a red pamphlet, small pamphlet, reddish in color, and on the back cover was a photograph of Fidel Castro, and there was an X mark on it. It's like somebody, like you do a paintbrush, red, and you take a white paintbrush and rub mark X. It says that the caption was the foreign threat to destabilize Liberia. In other words, saying that the rights riots, as it was called, was not a manifestation of dissatisfaction by the people, but rather it was a calculated plot by communist elements to overthrow the government of Liberia. That publication came out. At the time, it was rumored that this publication was by the National Security Agency or its affiliates. On the 26th of June 1979, the governor of the Republic of Liberia, President Talbot, having received the Brunel Commission report laying blame for the situation at the feet of government, came out contradicting what had come out as a publication stating that there was a foreign threat to destabilize Liberia, communist plot. Of course, we understand that within the larger context, this was during the period of the Cold War. But did the National Security Agency have anything to do with that publication? Was it behind it? Did it offer it? In which they accused student leaders of being communist agents?
It's possible. But again, I was not here. I don't think I saw that article. But if I may take the scenario of a particular country in South America, then I had to advise people. Something similar to the 1979 episode went on in my country. And what the leader said, and the leadership talk was being done, was that students were being used as front. But they're not big on him. Okay? The top students are being used, but they're not big on him. That was one aspect. Now they told the proponent that they couldn't elaborate, then they said no. No. The students were trying to hijack national politics and take the leadership of this country. So then it will not be a military coup. Now, bringing it back home, it will be quite difficult. And I didn't have the privilege to have seen that my cousin. I don't think I had time to discuss it. So it will be very difficult to actually understand what took place here. But from myself, I think it was both Commissioner Stewart. I think the politicians, the youthful politicians at that time, wanted a change because they heard that there was need for change from some foreign power. I think.
And not because they felt.
Okay, let's say that was the fact. Let's say the fact. And so they said, well, look, let's have a change. But I don't think the military change, the military takeover that took place of what they actually advocated. I don't think so. I wouldn't say. So again, it is difficult to actually say.
Now, there was a time when the National Security Agency had this aura of mystique and fear. And even if you pass by the building, you walk in fear. There used to be a nightclub up the hill called the Garage. And people used to go there and spill over the sidewalk. And sometimes those of us who used to go there received the shocking news that security had banned people from congregating there and spilling on the sidewalk and all of that. But there was this general impression that that agency was an agency that tortured people and all of that. Is there any truth to that? Was there any torture taking place at the NSA at the time? Did the NSA torture anybody? Was it part of the interrogation procedures to torture people?
Well, I don't know.
As an insider, looking back, not now, but at that time, over 20 years ago, was the NSA ever a torture chamber? Was torture a part of the interrogation methods?
I don't know. I really don't know. Listen. Intelligence services around the world, even now, all of them are trying to get into this cell. I couldn't get it. The first thing the young guy came was to call up my phone, which I did, and that was right. I don't know why the front of the guy gets that down there now. So I called him. And he wanted to know why I wanted to see the director. I said, listen, this guy is a pretty. I said, I could be a walkie. He said, what do you call a walkie? I said, oh, well. I said, you'll be a friend then. He said, well, you're not a friend. I said, well, I don't see you. He made it difficult for me. Alright? I didn't see you. The last time I was there, let me channel was there. I was there. And at the beginning was a little bit difficult. Chairman had to send down there. They said, let him come. He's one of the people that came from here. So you see, it could be the policy of the executives of the agency at the time. It could be just the little man back there trying to show his might. It could be also that some information came, it could be the message of the foreign, and that they didn't want people around them. I think another thing. There was one time that the Romanian embassy was next to the NSA, the same building.
Did they spy on you or you spy on them? Did the Romanian embassy spy on the NSA or the NSA?
No, I said what they're next to.
Yeah, right there, the building right next to.
Right, so that's why the building was after the NSA. fact, the government, the foreign minister agreed for them to be there. But at that time, I was in Liberia. I came to visit some friends, some relatives. So I went there to the agency to see some old friends, okay? And I walked from Igbo Street. And the night they had for Lieutenant Security was one Yoruba. He said, who are you? And I said, I'm a Liberian, I came to see the Boston. He said, but what is this thing you carry? And I said, well, are you sure you carry this thing around? He said, but why you speak like that? You're not from here. And I said, I'm from here. And I said, but you can't carry it too. I said, fair enough. I will leave it here. He said, yeah, but open the room to the mystery. Well, it'll be locked up. I'm going to put a red in this bed. I'm going to lock it. I'm going to put it on. I was going to pay you. And that fellow questioned me. He made it so difficult. But he didn't know I was there to help them because there was a camera focusing in the building that recorded everything the director did inside. He didn't know that the research center that was up there was constantly monitored. And I had just wanted to go in there to look, to tell them, you have to put blinds here and there. And he made a picture and went back. I called and they said, where are you? I said, I'm here. But once you will not let me come in. And I understand if I had a bed for him when I went back. So I said this to tell you. Things can be difficult without the bosses knowing. At the time we talked about when the NSA was fearful, there could have been one or two things. Maybe the bosses wanted it that way. Maybe the little guys there wanted it that way. Nobody else. I'm not able to tell.
If we should move forward a little bit. In the early years of the decade of the 80s, anybody 81, 82, thereabout, there's some students who were charged by the government for plotting to overthrow it. They were detained at the post office and should have been executed but reprieved at the last minute. As someone who was attached to that agency, was there any material evidence that it had derived that established, yes, that these students were indeed plotting to overthrow the government and the government had a legitimate right to respond in the way in which it did?
Who you say was accused again?
This was the governor of the PRC. He charged some university students for plotting to overthrow the government. Some of those names at the time were Ivory Coast, Patriotic, Second Liberian, and others.
Oh, I read it. I read it far, but I was not here. I wouldn't know. You know, it's difficult when you are not there to see the raw intelligence, to actually know the basis upon which certain actions were taken. But yes, I read it far. I know Patriotic and Ivory Coast and others. At one time, we were accused by government, but I didn't know the basis. But I read it, I don't know.
Now, not too long after that, in 182, the co-chairman of the PRC, General Thomas Bassett and others, were accused of plotting to overthrow the government. He along with his colleagues were executed. Mr. Oscar Jaipuya, one of the co-accused, was reprieved. And there were a lot of speculations as to whether there was any substance in such allegations. Although we've heard some people, individuals who appeared before this commission, saying to the effect that this was not the case. But did the NSA have anything that would have that we can look back today and say, yes, indeed, these people were plotting to overthrow the government, and the government may have then acted on this. Was there any such evidence?
No, Commissioner, sure. I read the file again on Commonwealth, and there was a reason why I was particular and I wanted to ask the time. Again, I was there and I wanted to know what it was.
Were you in the country at the time? Were you in the country at the time?
No, but I think I was in a town. When the vice chairman was executed some months after I came to him. I wanted to know what it was, what it really was. What I thought it was, based on the information that was stored by the NSA, the information did not originate from the NSA. It came from a gentleman who claims to be a relation of Watson. He gave the information. Well, you know, to go into files, when you sign for a file, you have to give reason. So when you go in there and find what you want to find, you take it back and you sign for it, you release it. But the information that led to the execution of the Antonio Wilson did not come from the NSA. They did not come from the NSA. It came from a gentleman. I think he later on became the director or something of a Paisa group that was housed in an area on Rana Street. People ask him, but it didn't come from the NSA.
But was the NSA tasked to do any counter checks as to whether this information was authentic and genuine enough to warrant the kind of action that was taken?
I'll tell you what, the NSA is not what you think it is, especially, I don't know about now. There were times that the NSA bosses went to argue certain things. If the leadership thought she could not go in there, that was it. That was it. So I wouldn't really know. I don't know how it's been done now, you know. So I really won't. In fact, I was entitled to that file for some other reason of my own. I wanted to know what was going on. At that time, I had an invitation to come after the coup. I had an invitation to come. I had several invitations. One came from direct message to the government to come to the church people on the organization of justice in Washington. They said the president should come. And if you want me to go and ask people who were there for government to go back on loan, I said, no, I'm going. So then every time I visited, I wanted to read to know what was going on. That's why I read the file. All I can tell you is the information did not come from the NSA.
Okay, we still move further. In 1984, we saw the arrest of some university professors who up the soil and here, along with General Kodia, on an alleged plot, again, attempting to overthrow the government. Was there any substance to such? Looking at from where you stood at the time, did the NSA have any information? Had it gathered any such information since the NSA should have been the agency told them as they had a mandate to conduct domestic intelligence operations? Was it in the know of any such plot, or was just a figment of the imagination?
I tell you what, I'm sure you are about the proliferation of so-called intelligence organizations during the time of the 80s. The one here in KWC, the one there on Arma Street, The CID that wanted to do the work of the NSA. There was a group led by one Patriotic immigration that wanted to do NSA work. There was the Minister of National Security that wanted to do custom breaking and doing the same thing that NSA did. Everybody, there was a group at the nation that wanted to do it. We have power. We have a serious power. In fact, at one point, we needed the help of some other people to tell the government, this is not the way it is done. So you see, information came from all areas. There was no point of dissemination, central point of dissemination we didn't have. So even though NSA was there, and people thought that they did the work of the work, NSA really didn't do the work. What came to us, we took it both raw, analyzed, digested, before we presented it, along with our, you ask me within the system of what we did, we along with our recommendation. But others' information came to us. You're sitting down here, and our sources are telling us this and telling us that. And so, there's nothing you could do. You could not participate in such a thing because once it came from out there, you could not say, bring it go into it. No. They didn't give it to you. So the issue about the soil, it's gone to the NSA, they want it. And you can put me on that to directly say, they call me, they start I will tell them, yes, I will be on professional material. But the soil assisted me at the University of Liberia. I had a room with one professor, and I wanted to expel me. He used the issues of my grades to give me a brutal scope of that. Young guy, look at him doing this kind of this, and he talked to the people nicely, and they brought it down. So if the information had been sent by agents controlled by the NSA, when I start, I would ask others if I put it with, they say, okay, look, let's do electronic tapping and see if that was what's involved. Because I don't think I should forget what he did for me, just I can't forget what he did for me. So again, things went to us at the NSA or things went to government that did not even come from the NSA. Sometimes we hurt them. That was it. Sometimes we hurt them.
Did the NSA at any time conduct domestic covert intelligence operations against the True Party?
The True Party?
At any time, to your knowledge, did the NSA conduct covert intelligence operations domestic against or directed against the True Party?
Well, I would be surprised.
How about the Western Alliance of Liberia, PAL or PPP or UPP?
I won't say yes, I won't say I don't know. I think I would be surprised if that happened. The NSA's work is to even monitor what kind of conditions are. And even to know what kind of water everybody in the community who came to that. So I would be surprised.
So they say that in another way, the NSA was like keeping files on everybody. Reminiscent of the McCarthy years in the United States, when everybody was a commie.
No.
Did it conduct intelligence operations against
Let me tell you this. This is worldwide. You go to England, you go down there and see what's going on Yahoo. You see the young guy coming from school, and he's having this bracket and train ball on Yahoo program. Why is he doing that? Where is he going? Go to the States. Go into a department store. Come from there and go back and see if people are not following you. Why do you end up doing that? Go right here to Guinea. talk to the intelligence people. And I left, and I forgot how far. It took about 3-4 minutes when I came back, my car was gone, there were 3 photocopies in there. Imagine an instructor. I just left them. I just talked to them. When I got, I told them, I said, oh, go back, let my car. They said, no, nothing. That's when I see people running behind me alive. I said, well, I mean nothing. You can't be my little guy. I'm not up for what kind of thing. The best thing for me is to go there and find a job. I'm not going to run behind me to waste my time. So you see, don't go on what NSA did. NSA's work is to know everything and anything that goes on. We did bad, we did good. That's why we call it a national security agency. That's what intelligence organization. They can't really put out with bad or what good.
And in so doing, there's no more stepping the boundaries between individual rights, privacy, and all that, and state security. So there's no boundaries.
Have you been listening recently to this thing I've been thinking a lot of behind in the states that Bush proposed that even domestic phone will tap. You know, if I director of NSA today, you know what happened with you? Every phone you eat, I will call you. All of you on the phone. Everybody you talk to. The very phone you call you with, I will call it. That's not abusing of rights.
Are you suggesting that such should be going on?
Oh yeah, if you ask the information right now, I'll say yes, we get to animal. This is a young democracy. We ought to do everybody before we are set aside. I would say yes, yeah.
So in other words, you cannot trust the security of the mobile phone to communicate.
Say that again.
So you cannot trust the security of the mobile phone to communicate.
No, I'm not saying that. I said, hey, I was asked. I would say yes, and if I were there, I would do it. That's what I said. And that's what I would do if I were there. I would not say about it.
Okay, let's move on. The 1985 elections, there were reports of ballot boxes being burned. Did the NSA pick up any such information and corroborate such? What was the ballot boxes being burned? Ballots being burned?
Oh, during the elections.
1985 elections, yes.
Yeah, during the 1985 elections.
Was the NSA able to pick up reports? Was the NSA able to pick up any such information?
NSA did not investigate anything over it. If NSA did, it was just for our internal records. We did not investigate over matters. From strictly the national police and other agencies. NSA, let me put it in this way. We just start, period. So what are the one basis of that? And don't forget, Commissioner Stewart, NSA then and now do not go into matters that were not sanctioned by the president. You ask him and he will tell you that. We did not go into matters that were not ordered either by the Minister of State to the President himself, or in some cases, to the Defense Minister upon instructions of the President. So, where we come from to investigate ballot boxes being burned, who would have authorized that?
No, not investigating the burning of the boxes, but the collecting of such intelligence. Because yes, these ballots were burned, boxes were burned, date and place it happened, individuals involved in burning.
No, it was
the boxes, they all that. And from the layman's perspective, be inclined to believe that NSA would pick up all such details.
But Commissioner Steele, where would that authorization come from? Where did it come from?
If it's responsibility to go and everything about everything, then why would that be selective case?
Have you ever associated with intelligence organization?
No, I have studied intelligence organizations.
You have to turn down the social issue. And you go down there and tell them these are the issues, sign you down. And the next election from there, the last time we talk about this thing happened, that thing happened, who asked them if there were any reports? You know why there were no reports? Because Lobo, in his true sense of mind, sitting there as defense minister or justice minister or minister of state, who have been brave enough to organize that through the president. There were things that NSA just didn't go into. Either because they were white and they didn't want to go in there, or either because they were not authorized. Period. Sorry.
Okay, let's move on. Now, also in the 80s, the former vice chairman of the PRC, General Pulia, was killed. At the time, it was reported in official media that he had been killed in a shootout at the border. And there were eyewitnesses who were saying General Pulia at the police station in Bana before being transported to Monrovia. Looking back, did the government lie at the time that General Pulia was killed at the border?
I frankly don't know, but I'll tell you, the reports that came from Monrovia were that that was a report, that was the government's version. Pulia was killed at the border in the government battles. Whether that took place or not, I did not investigate. In fact, I was not responding to investigation anyway, so.
But the agency that no?
I was just not if I had interest to want to know. Oh, definitely I would have known if I had interest to want to know. But because I didn't know.
Interestingly, I was like, when I saw him myself.
Huh?
There were eyewitnesses who saw him at the police station in Ghana. So I'm asking, did the NSA not know? Did the government lie at the time that Pulia was killed at the border?
I tell you what, I don't know. If I did that, if I even went in there to know, so what I would mean would be like, I'm going back on my oath to defend government, would be like I'm spying on government. I said, I know about General Pulia being killed. I was friendly with his niece, who was terrifying. She cried on my shoulders after that, but I didn't go in there to spy and to see where he was killed. I didn't do it. It was a military thing, it was not NSA work, so nothing for me, I was not directly involved.
Now you did make mention, if we still move forward, you did make mention of what said about, you mentioned that the NSA had picked up plans, information, NSA had picked up information about plans to seize the government, that there was military training going on, that we were able to infiltrate the camp, and all of that. But why was such information ignored?
Good question. I wish the president, I believe, answered some other questions because I don't know why it was ignored. But a lot of things were ignored. That for the 1985 Cuban impulsion themselves, it was ignored. But we, through government, when we talk to the company, and nothing was done. We found out to our surprise that there was forced reduction at the border. Again, it was in the one you talked about, it was adequately monitored. We have photographs, we have, at one point, we have recordings of the living instructor, one of them, the slaying topple. We did the cassette. And up there, he took on, he listened to it, he laughed, he said, "You got to revenge that." Now, I was not in his mind to have known why people listen to it. No, I was not the defense, I was not close to the defense minister to have known, I was not close to the two side, I don't know why I didn't know. But my work, our work, was to give it the way we saw it, the way we heard it, the way we thought it would. If they took it, fine. If they didn't take it, fine.
Now, in the aftermath of the November 12, 1985 aborted invasion, there were reports, and that we have also received information that there were quite a number of arrests, mass arrests, and quite a number of individuals, including security officers as well, were detained. Some of them were detained as mentioned. And there were reports that there were executions that were done at the mansion. Was the NSA able to pick up anything like this? Or would you have any idea that there were executions conducted at the mansion in the aftermath of November 12?
Well, actually, that's such stories. And I'll tell you one thing after I'll give you a day or two. That was just about 2 days. The day that I took you to the mansion, I was trying to pay the body of John Moore. Somebody personal, I'm not going to mention his name, asked me, "Are you going to go around there?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm going to go there." He said, "Please, can you find out what happened to John Moore?" Noah was a personal friend of another friend. We sat together a lot of times. We tried to learn to play pool. We visited areas we all went. And I wanted to know how they were. And I was careful the way I asked my questions. And I tell you, I didn't get any concise answer. All I heard was people got killed. I won't be, the 1985 portion, we did our share by telling government before one government. And that was where we stopped. When the action started, they were military. There was no more NSA matter. But I actually tried to find out if I could trace the body of government.
There were reports that he was beheaded and that his head was thrown into the cell.
No, I didn't hear that. I heard he was killed. At one point, I heard he was being held by the mansion. So I was being careful, asking quietly some of the boys. I trained. From the morning, they say, I don't physically hear people. I said, "What are you seeing?" He died. But no one actually said how he was killed.
So there were executions that did take place.
We heard that. Yeah, we heard that. We heard that. I didn't see it, so I can't say it yet. But actually, I heard that execution taking place. Yes. Yes.
Now, if we move further on, there was, at the start of the incursion, a number of incidents occurred that shocked the conscience of Liberians. Among such incidents was the beheading of the well-known Liberian sculptor and artist Ben Richards and others, along with him. The killing of Mr. David Patriotic, killing of Madam Esther Parker. All of these were attributed to the acts of functionaries of government agents. soldiers, security, or what have you. Was the NSA able to establish any such?
I will tell you one particular the killing of Professor Banja Regis. He coming outside university. And one of those things that I thought caused a lot of the people that deserted the National Army. Because though I wanted to execute a guy called B.A. Johnson, whom he held responsible, he led the troops to Arlington. That's the only name I made, it's B.A. Johnson.
He's still alive today? Is he still alive today?
Yeah, he's alive. But whether he did it, I don't know. He didn't confess. I didn't investigate it. It was a military matter. But those said he led the troops to Arlington and he would be killed. I heard, in fact, that he went to jail. Other than that, I can't tell you anything. You know, let's go back to this, the period we are referring to. A lot of things went wrong. A lot of things went wrong. You know, the reason I didn't mention some other things in our statement that I just want to let them go. I have a 2 billion on the corner road and I will never live there. Never. In our yard are the bones, the remains of 2 of my children. They will be there. A man living next door always ran to me for this. He said, "Yeah, the found man children," and they killed him. My uncle, Amos, was killed right there. I met the guy later on when I came back from Sierra Leone. I was living in Birmingham. I went to see him on the program. And I said, "Well, the USA, you know, I want to turn down." The other one. He looked down at that for a long time, and then he said to me, he said, "No, the war was ugly, let's just do this thing." We shook him. I told him he would always go to see me in Birmingham. When I moved back to Monrovia, I was living on 9th Street, I invited him, even though he didn't show. He didn't go. Things happen. A lot of things happen. So you see, for one to know those kind of things that happen, it will be difficult. To know everything that happens, it will be very difficult.
So you mentioned that you had gone to see the president in the aftermath of the killing of that occurred at the Lutheran Church, and that he was upset and had vowed that if he had formed whoever did it would be killed. I interpret your explanation to mean that responsibility then for such killings can be placed at the feet of government operatives, whether soldiers, security, or at the time volunteer conscripts. Would that be right to draw such a conclusion?
It will be difficult to explain. I just told you what I heard the president say. And that's what he said.
That it would have been renegade soldiers who have gone to the church.
No, but also the orders are not there. Why I say so? You remember the UN shooting in Monrovia? When the rebels are not even reached the Kanaka. Do you remember that?
And the UN
I don't want this thing. No, very simple.
And all LDDI office.
I want this thing. The information was relayed to Joe by owner J. Patriotic. And the president called and then said all the bosses are left out, the only one there. To arrange them, along with some police officers. I interviewed a guy from Lima called BK. He said to me, he said, "Bossman, if you're a king alive, they came in a white Mercedes." I said, "Well, describe it." So he described it. Fine. I was there when I called NS, I said, look, track down any messaging in a country that looks like this. It was traced with the late Sheikh Kedi. But Sheikh Kedi at the time was in London. I want you to listen to this. Sheikh Kedi was in London. He was out of here. His wife was out of here. How could this person be? Alright? I went back to the agent and said, now look, the legal resources we got available, we are going to find the company. I was on an investigation. That was not our work, but because it was specific from the president, I had to do it. We went back there, I talked to Vicky and another lady. He was persistent. He said, that's what I saw. I said, fine. We tracked the car down. You know where it was parked? It was parked, you know, Santa Mani's house? You go in there, went to the sea, you were parked. I'm sorry, I don't know. Then where it was parked, we arrested the Mercedes. Then we arrested the driver. We took him to NSA. We the driver. Where were you last time? Our home. Don't lie. Just tell us where you were. We know everything. We saw you. Don't want to see it. You can talk to us. Yes, some people came. They took me. We went to the UN plane and they started shooting. Now, I don't know if former Patriotic is around, but he had a daughter that was also in the hospital. And now Biggie is around. You know who the guy was? A brother from Nima country. Who carried you? He said some people. I was someone in the side to carry them. How many? They wouldn't take it. What ants they carry? There are all kind of ants. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you so you know that during our war, crazy things happen by crazy people and crazy times, and no one, including yourself, can really say what happened. The next day, we kept him at the next day. I ordered to detain him, so I wanted to go to the bottom. I went to the mansion. The entire group was sitting here. I said, see, I want to see the bottom. That thing he told me to investigate the man who caught the assistant person. He said, go. I went up. And I told go. He said, go for what to do. He said, he called the SSL and wanted to drop my deal. He said, I think he tell them, he said, they paid Nima people. That helped Nima man to put a vessel. Tell the man what he told me. So I narrated. He said, I want the man. I was there when I called on myself. See, everybody went to the mountain to talk to him. And he said, he narrated exactly as I just told you. What was his end? Omer Bill told the president, "Gain to me, I will handle it. I will go to the bottom there." That was the end of it. The message deal with me at the NSA. The next day, I heard the word of the border when things went back. And I was now around now in the hospital. So, a lot of things happen. It could have been Air Force soldiers that did it. It could have been somebody who sat there and thought he was supporting those without those known or known. I can't say. It could have been somebody from the NSA, it could have been somebody from the police, it could have been somebody from the... It could have been another Liberian who sat there and said, oh, I will do this to make the government look bad. But that particular investigation was never going to head to. I'm sure some records will be with NSA on that. I'm sure the National Party will know. He will tell you exactly what I'm saying. He had a approach, he had a borrow. I don't remember her name. I don't remember her name. But she was in there. And BK was one of the persons who got it. So you will never know.
Over back in Bill, fortunately, was killed according to his son, Henry Lyons, in NPFL. So he's no longer alive.
He was so rest in peace. He was with my woman and NPFL.
Okay, Mr.
witness, we want to tell you thank you very much. We regret that because time is fast spent, we want to terminate now and continue tomorrow morning at 10. So follow questions from Commissioner Stewart and then the rest of the commissioners. Thank you. Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Mr. Hearing Officer, we are adjourned today and continue tomorrow morning. Thank you, Mr.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
If I'm not going to come back, I have something I want to tell you. But we still come back on Monrovia. I want to get this off my chest. I have to
We'll not finish it. Tomorrow we'll continue. Then you'll have the opportunity.
They will come tomorrow morning to continue with you. That'll be fun. Yeah, that'll be fun. Okay.
Thank you. Tomorrow morning.